I went from knowing nothing about mountain bikes to spending $700 on one in about 2 weeks. So here is everything that happened and whether I think it was worth it. I bought this specialized Rockhopper mountain bike about 2 weeks ago. So was it worth the money or not? It was about a month ago, and I'm from a northern climate, so I was getting ready for some outdoor activities, and I was just kind of racking my brain on something different that I could do this year. And it just so happened that I ended up coming across videos of guys riding single track downhill trails, and I thought, wow, that looks pretty fun. So I did a quick little research in my area to see if those single track trails were also around me or not. And it turns out that there were plenty of them. There were quite a few. They were not like anything extreme downhill or any actual like extreme mountain biking, but there were some definite good little dirt trails that you could ride around on here. So I decided that I wanted to buy a mountain bike, which I didn't think would be as difficult as it ended up being. So the first thing I did was found myself I just Googled mountain bikes for sale, and I found myself on a website called Polygon Bikes. So I was looking through Polygon Bikes at the first bit of mountain bikes, and holy cow, what a shock to find out that the first bike that I saw cost $5,000. I had no idea mountain bikes could be that expensive or were that expensive. But that was honestly just the start of it, because as I was looking through the page, I then start to see all sorts of stuff about enduro bikes and trail bikes and cross-country bikes, things with dual suspension and all sorts of different specs and gadgets that are on them, hardtails. I mean, these were words that I genuinely had absolutely no idea what they meant. I do a little bit now, but at the time had basically no understanding of it at all. But through a little more digging, I was able to figure out what I was kind of after. And that was something in the hardtail realm, because I knew what the trails out here were going to look like. They're for the most part flat, long, kind of flowy trails. Yeah, they're single track dirt, but they're nothing like impossible to handle, even for a beginner. So I started navigating towards the hardtails after doing some YouTube research myself, and thank goodness, to my surprise, that they were more on the affordable end. I'm not going to say cheap by any means, but definitely more affordable than some. And so then after that, I started looking more deeply into what bikes actually fit the bill that I was looking for. And so when I was on the Polygon website, I ended up finding one called a Polygon Xstrata 5 that looked kind of what I was looking for, which was something more cross-country style, but could still handle some downhill slopes and some steep ascents when I wanted to do that as well. But I'm ultimately glad I did not end up going with that bike, because I did not initially know that Polygon was a direct-to-consumer bike. So yes, while it was probably a little more affordable for the componentry that the bike had, it would have showed up somewhat unprepared and not put together. And for someone who's never really put together a bike, that's probably not what I was looking for. So I kept searching around. Well, one other thing that happened too is when I initially was on the website, I found out I needed an XL bike. I'm 6'2", and so I was looking for XL bikes. I did end up finding one, and to my surprise, it was on sale, so that was great. But this was early in my shopping experience, so I could not get myself to pull the trigger. And when I went back on and looked the next day, it was back up to about $900. So I ended up not buying the Polygon bike, and I kept looking, and two more ended up kind of coming to the front for me, and that was the Bobcat Trail 4 and the Specialized Rockhopper Comp. And I really did want the Marin Bobcat Trail 4, but for the life of me, I was searching and searching, and I could not find one in Excel. So ultimately, it didn't work out to get that, and that ended up being fine because the next thing I did was search some of the local shops around me, and that's when I came across the specialized Rockhopper comp. So I went to my local bike shop when I saw they had an XL on their website in stock because I wanted to check it out. And so I went over to the shop, went in and started walking around. There was a couple guys working in the back, I imagine putting together bikes or something. So I just started looking around myself, and I couldn't find the bike that I was there searching for. And so finally I went over to the guy and I was like, I see this bike on your website, but I don't see it in your inventory anywhere on the floor. And he said, oh yeah, I think that's actually still in the box. We haven't put it together yet. I was like, oh, okay. Is there any way that could be done? And so they did. They ended up putting it together for me. They said, yeah, if you want to come in, we'll have it done in a few days and give you a call, and you can come in and try it out a little bit. So then it was probably about 4 days later that they called and left a voicemail saying, your bike is ready if you want to come get it, which was odd because I never agreed that I was going to buy the bike. So that shocked me a little bit, but I was like, okay, I'll go in and look at it at least. So I did go in and checked it out, and it felt great as far as I knew for a mountain bike. And ultimately, I'm glad that I ended up going this route because I did end up buying the bike there. And then that's when the employees started rattling off things about warranty and keeping up maintenance and components. And I think he could tell I was getting a little nervous, or that things were going over my head, because he's like, dude, just bring it in once a year and we'll keep the bike running well for you. And that was a bit of a relief. And I guess kind of the moral of the story here is was buying the specialized Rockhopper worth it? 100% it's been worth it. I've had so much fun with it already. I've had my first wipeout came pretty quickly. I was probably pushing it a little faster than I should have initially. I've explored all sorts of trails around my area. I'm excited to take it to different parts of the state already this year. And yeah, so am I glad that I bought the Rockhopper Comp 29? Yeah, definitely. And overall, the bike itself has been pretty much exactly what I was looking for. It's really great on smooth single track trails, but I don't get like concerned over navigating any slopes either. So it was definitely worth it for me. And I hope my experience can help someone else out there who might be shopping for a bike. And in my next video, I'm planning to go to the spot of my first wipeout and explain everything that went wrong there. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.